coming to you live from Rio De Janeiro, Brazil. No sign of Claudio, unfortunately. It's the 10-point podcast, season 7 finale, I guess. I'm still not actually sure if these are the finale or if the pointies is the finale, really. But it's episode 20, the last episode of season.
The last standard one.
Season 7 proper. My name is Bruce, and as I look out at this wonderful family, I'm filled with so much pride. I know this road has been very hard and also not fair, and yet here you are, despite all of the odds, building this magnificent legacy. It is a legacy that will go on for generations. No one can take it away, not now, not ever. To Familia!
Yay. I was wondering where that came from. I was like, who the fuck says that?
Do you remember? You do.
Abuelita, whatever she's called.
It was old Granny Toretto at the dinner. With me at my barbecue this week, however.
I'm at a barbecue.
The only thing he knows about Rome is Roman noodles. It's Chris.
You butthole.
Excuse me. And secondly, this is a real deep cut. You some bitch. It's Andy.
Nice.
The very last line of the
Somebody
whole
watched the post-credit scene.
Someone got all the way to the very, very end. Yes, what a delivery by Dwayne, though. It was really something. He really made the most of his 2 words that he had.
He really had to ham that up after the Black Adam died on. He's like, I'm coming back, and I'm going to say these words perfectly.
We are the 10-point podcast. You may have guessed by now. You can find us podcasts, YouTube's, Spotify's where it works.
OnlyFans, money, everything.
Facebook, Twitter. I sent out a tweet this week. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I tweeted.
No, I don't use Elon Musk.
I tweeted on Twitter the podcast, teasing some comments I was going to make about our highlights of the week because I went to see something. I thought we're going to be off quite a lot over the summer.
Did Vin Diesel get back to you?
I'm definitely didn't. I'm definitely going to be seeing a lot of films over the summer, and we're going to have a lot less podcasts between now and August when I'm seeing all these films. So I'm thinking I might do some twittering of the stuff I've been seeing. So I very briefly reviewed my highlight of the week, but that's coming
cancelled.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Either way, 10-point podcast. Type those 3 words into the internet, and you will find an episode, a website, a source, a tweet, a Facebook, something or other that is us talking about films. I've teased it, but Andy's going to head off with his highlight of the week because mine is the same. Andy, your highlight of the week.
I watched Batman Returns, and what a film it was.
Returns.
He did indeed return, yeah.
Oh, double returning. I basically watched the new Michael Keaton Batman film because that's what I'm calling it.
Batman: The Flash.
Yeah, because I'm trying to do a non-spoiler review. Right, Batman's in it. He is the best thing in it.
Well, put it this way, that's in the trailer.
Well, yeah. But he's in it way longer than I actually thought. I thought the trailer's going to just ham it up. He's going to be in a wee bit, but he's in about 80% of this film, which is needed.
He's the 3rd main character, but the 2 main characters are the same character.
Yes.
So yeah, he is.
And like, say what you want about this Batman. I quite like Ezra Miller being this character, and his acting, be cheesy, whatever you have. At no stage did I need him to wear a different outfit to know which one of the Flashes he was, because he played against himself perfectly. Like, you didn't need to wear like yellow, and he didn't have to wear red. It's like you could have just had him in the same clothes, and I would have completely believed he was a different person. And
he's a bit of a nutter.
That's my one.
The Flash is the one film that he nails every time.
He does, and I'll give him credit for that. I mean, his character's not very great in the film. He's there or thereabouts, but Supergirl, what a waste. She was pish. But Michael Keaton, fucking hell. Every time he was on screen, I'm like, yes. I was like, flip flop. Yes, I'm all for it. Yeah. I didn't care. I was just like, yes, I was in. And then at the end, I just didn't care. There's a bit where it kind of, it's coming. And I was just like, I don't care anymore. Once they've done it once, I didn't care about the next couple of times they did it.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
I think what you're saying. Well, I've seen it, so I don't know what you mean. I enjoyed myself, and in my tweet that I sent out, that I sent all these hundreds of people that found my tweet to this podcast. I think it's the most I've enjoyed myself at the cinema this year. And when I go to the cinema, basically there's one or two things I want. I either want to watch a great film, or I really want to have a good time watching a film. And I feel like The Flash was a hell of a lot of fun. It is not perfect. It has problems. People are tearing it apart, some maliciously because
it's
Ezra Miller
ridiculous.
is an absolute psychopath, and we can't distance him from that, but we can distance the film from it. He's crazy. That's why
Yeah.
people hate this. That's that dealt with. He's crazy. He shouldn't be doing all the stuff he's doing and can't get away with it any longer. However, in the film, he is brilliant, and like Andy says, his one of them has like a daft haircut, one of them has a
Yeah.
normal haircut.
He
But
can
other
do
than that, he plays two different people, and I don't know what 3/4 of his scenes are Ezra Miller and himself, and it's like two different people. It is incredible what he does.
And there's some risky shit in this film, like that bit at the start. I was just like, oh fuck, they're going there. Like, oh, you can't do that. It was like, oh, they're doing it. It was a lot of that.
I think they've kept it in the film after they'd heard about it. I thought, oh, everyone will get a laugh at this. Ezra won't like it, but everyone else is going to get a laugh at this gag. But yeah, he is really entertaining, and he made me laugh as much as some comedy films do. He's really funny in the film.
Yeah.
But the problem they have is they panicked when he went mad, because the fact Michael Keaton being Batman in this film is supposed to be a twist, I reckon, because the whole first scene, slight spoiler, they hide that it's Michael Keaton. We all know it's Michael Keaton because we've been advertised, come to this film where Michael Keaton's back. But in the film, it's like, oh, who is this mysterious person living in Wayne Manor? And all that stuff. Well, we know we've seen the trailers. But I had actually forgotten that Supergirl was in it, because a massive chunk in the second half of the film is teasing something, and it's Supergirl. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot she's in this. But otherwise, that's another major thing that's probably supposed to be a twist that they had to reveal in the trailer, because
really shouldn't have.
Because they panicked about the whole Ezra Miller thing. So, despite the fact that I basically knew, despite forgetting one of them, the two major character appearances in this film, I still very much enjoyed myself. I really liked where it was going. Had a lot of fun. I very much enjoyed the very ending, Andy. I won't go further with that, but the very ending appealed to me, but also because this film's kind of the end. Like, they're not going to do really any more with Ezra Miller, I doubt. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you want to have a good laugh and not have to think too much. If you know Man of Steel and you know who Batman is, then this film's fine. Other than that, you don't need any other sort of background information, really. But yes, a lot of fun. And yeah, flies by 2.5 hours. Gone. And it is funny. But yeah, highly recommend The Flash. I went into it hopeful, and it delivered on what I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm definitely a thumbs up category, but yeah, the internet fucking hates this.
They hate it on purpose. And it's like, I can see why people would slag off the CGI, but at this point, I think I'm kind of over films having bad CGI.
Yeah.
Like, Fast 10, there's dodgy bits of CGI in it, but I don't think in my notes anywhere do I criticise the CGI in Fast 10.
I must admit, watching it on a smaller telly, this film looks near perfect compared to when you watch it on the big screen. It's like, oh, that's a bit dodgy.
Flash, I feel like they struggled with some of the CGI and then just
But
kind
also,
of...
it looked deliberate. It's fine. I'm fine with that. And I like the bit where he's actually obviously doing the running bit in the museum.
Yeah.
Like, actually shows you do, like, fucking hell, it broke me. I was like, oh my god, it actually does run like that.
I think I was laughing, like, I was one of the film scenes where I was laughing out loud and nobody else in the screen was laughing, and I was like, I don't care, it's really funny. But yeah, I highly recommend The Flash, and the CGI didn't bother me that much. Ezra Miller is crazy and won't make any more films, however, it doesn't mean that he wasn't, unfortunately. Chris, any highlights from you the last week?
Yeah, well, I did it. I blasted through 10 Fast and the Furious films in preparation for FastX.
What a ledge.
Cool. Could we save your reviews for when we get on to the actual pre-podcast, the pre?
I wasn't going to spoil where FastX came in.
But let's save all Fast and Furious chat for just before we get into it. So, is there anything that wasn't Fast and Furious you went into in the last?
Say fucking hell, he's
films enough, do you think?
We'll stick a pin in Chrissy's Fast and Furious universing for a while. But you have watched 9 films.
10. I watched the Hobson Show as well.
So that would.
Oh no, sorry, I watched 9 and then watched the Fast and Furious again.
Hobson Show. Well, you watched the first one again.
You watched it a couple of weeks ago.
I know, I said I didn't watch that one, so I didn't.
All right.
So 10, including Fast 10 you watched. So anyway, right, we'll go on to that just before we get into the this week's podcast, which is indeed Fast 10. So we better go on to point number 1, which is Fast 10, like I say, 2023, just brand new out like a month ago, action adventure crime mystery thriller. It's Fast 10, cars, explosions, fighting, action. Somewhere, what was it? IMDb put it in the martial arts category or something like that as well.
Right.
Fighting and stuff.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, you did Grimsby, did you?
Amazing.
So I thought that was quite an intriguing thing. I could see how he could be the same director, but it seems, when you think about it, this Grimsby quite far apart. But no, there was a lot of action in Grimsby. The film stars as Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel. I won't go in depth on him. As Letty, Michelle Rodriguez. I won't go too in depth on him. Third on the cast listing, as just Shaw, Jason Statham. We've done him. Don't need to go too much on him.
I'm not sure why he's top billed.
I've no idea. And fourth, as Mia, Jordana Brewster, who we also did in Fast. So the main three from the Fast and the Furious are back, plus Jason Statham, who we've covered before. They're the main 4 stars. There's a million people in this film. I'm not going to go too further into any others. You know who all of them are. On a budget, $340 million, the most expensive Fast and Furious movie, I say, of all time, but they've been going for 20 years.
Don't worry, they're going to blow out the park and then part 2.
They will keep going. It opened in the US, 67 million its first weekend. Final US gross to date, I guess, because it is still in cinemas, 143 million. Worldwide gross to date, 79 million. So it's already doubled its money, and it's still in cinemas, and there will be more.
And there's going to be about 1 million more listeners, so I think he's after they listen to this podcast.
Exactly, yeah. Released just over a month ago, the 19th of May 2023. So it's absolutely brand new. It's too early for any awards whatsoever, so there's not any point wasting any time going through the award ceremonies. It is not.
It could win a point, though. Early awards.
Well, you have to be the first award ceremony to give it an award. That's a fair point, huh? So, he has teased it, and I have got backup information to back him up. Chris, can you present us with what has happened between the end of The Fast and the Furious and the beginning of Fast 10?
We did that a couple of podcasts ago.
10
This
movies.
is going to cause chaos because, right, so obviously at the end of the first one, Dom goes away somewhere, and I didn't realise there was a little teaser at the end of that one.
Yeah.
No, I did. That was happening. And then the second one, he's not in at all. It's all about Paul Walker, and we get introduced to Tyrese Gibbs and Tej, Ludacris.
Ludacris, yeah.
I'm going to say now that is the worst Fast and Furious film in my list.
I like the boat jump. That was a good.
That's the only good thing in it. Too Fast, Too Furious is the worst one. Then we go into the second worst one.
Well, I've got more information on the second one because you haven't told us what happened. I want to know what's happening. You can't just say these. Well,
that's what cars the race.
I'm looking for what's happening here. So in that one, Brian is now in Miami, working undercover on the street racing scene, of course, because obviously it was all about street racing and all that sort of stuff. He teams up with Tyrese, that was Roman, who was back in Fast 10, so Roman, to take down a drug lord named Carter Verone, played by Paul Hauser in that one. Yeah. They're joined by Ludacris, like you say. Mia's in it as well, Dom's sister. And the team eventually takes it. According to the internet, according to my AI helper here.
She is in the second one.
Mia's in the second one.
That's how Paul Walker and her start banging.
No, he bangs Eva Mendes.
Does he? My goodness. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going by what's AI.
Too long ago.
Anyway, eventually they take down Verone, but Brian is forced to go on the run after he is framed for the murder of Verone. Is that correct, Chris? At the end of the Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, he becomes a baddie, technically.
Not really, because he's working with the FBI.
Fair enough.
But the FBI are baddies.
Right.
Your AI is all over the bit because
It's on my list.
Let's use Chris's AI.
It's my fifth best Fast and Furious movie on my list. That I've got.
that is guff.
See, now I think I don't actually know what I've scored Tokyo Drift on my little list I've got here. So Tokyo Drift might not be.
I was scored. I was watching, but no, this is shit. This is on the list.
Come on, we need to power through this.
Anyway, next one's Tokyo Drift, where
No,
nobody's
isn't.
in it.
You're wrong already. Los Bandoleros, a 2009 short film, is
Yep.
next. So,
What
you-
film that
watched the
was?
short films. I watched.
so
the
Dom
film.
is now living in the Dominican Republic after he's released from prison. He is forced to steal fuel in order to survive, but he teams up with the US government to take down a drug cartel.
Yep.
In his crew, we've got Letty again. Vince is back from the first one, which I didn't realize he was in that one. And Han, apparently, his first appearance of Han. The team successfully take down the cartel, and Dom was successfully able to return to the US. There you go.
Right.
That's the end of that.
Press next.
What's next?
Well, I've got in order the films. I'm
That was
getting
next.
confused. Anyway, the Tokyo Drift. That one's set in obviously Japan, where it's got nobody from the past films, although Han's introduced.
Yeah.
And because he was so popular is why he dies in Tokyo Drift, spoilers. Which is because he was so popular, he came back and they added other people in to make it look like a murder and stuff.
I believe timeline wise, Tokyo Drift actually comes after number 6 or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, it's like near the end of the list.
Yeah.
And what happens? Just Vin Diesel makes his next appearance after the first film, and a little bit cameo at the end.
Yeah,
that
see
one, yeah.
cameos.
Cool.
And then
That's when he got the franchise, because they basically said, "What do you want?" He's like, "The franchise."
And that's when it really starts, isn't it? Really,
This is where it's a
Well,
completely
no,
different
fourth
set of
shape.
films.
yeah, but really, it becomes like
Yeah.
it is in the fourth one. It's like
Do you know what? I actually quite like the fourth one.
The fourth one is the
Because-
one that's all in Mexico and going under tunnels. It's high speed into.
That's what I remember more than anything.
Right.
I've got it
because-
as my 7th best, is what I've got it as.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
my
like that
second
one.
best right. Because Letty dies in that one,
Yep, indeed.
and then we obviously Dom's with Paul again, and they fall out because he sent Letty to her death, blah blah blah, and then he kills somebody else, and then in 5 is when Vince
We
comes
meet Gal
back.
Gadot in that one first. That's the first time we meet her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
She's
that.
in that one for the first time.
And she becomes good.
Fast 5, the best one is next. Fast 5.
Some safe bulling, some rock. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's where the FastX has started off, is from Fast 5.
Yep.
And then what's Fast 6? I can't remember.
Well,
that.
hang on. So Fast 5
I've
take
run
down
out of
Rio
time.
de Janeiro Police Department and a drug lord named Hernan Reyes, who is important for this one, joined by Hobbs for the first time. That's The Rock appears.
Oh, yeah.
first, and Elena, who ends up being the mother to Dom's child, who looks nothing like her or like Dom either. They successfully
That's racist.
take down Reyes and are able to start a new life together following Fast 5, apparently, Brian and Dom, according to this AI. Right, what's next, Chris?
Fast 5, is that the one where he gets arrested? No, that's Fast 4. And Fast 5, they break him out. And
Yeah, they break him out.
They
yeah.
run.
Yeah.
And Fast 6, what the hell's that? And that's the one we get Owen Shaw, is it?
Luke Evans.
Yeah, that's Owen Shaw.
Yep, look, Owen Shaw appears in that one. This
He
is
is causing absolute chaos looking
Yep,
for.
around London.
this is the worst one, maybe not for Tokyo Drift potentially, but this is the one that I
I
thought.
quite like this one.
This is in my middle.
This is the worst one for me.
Um,
This is the one with the 21-mile runway in it, or whatever it is.
oh, right, yeah, this is where Gal Gadot dies.
Yes.
Which another
Um,
nonsense.
Why? And then, like, I don't know, hundreds of people seem to die and then they come back again.
Yep.
And I can't quite remember what's next. 7 is when we get.
Well, 6 to get Jason Statham for the first time at the end of 6.
Yeah.
What?
Twist, he kills Han.
Yeah, and they're able to clear Letty's name apparently in that one there. Which
Yeah.
apparently her name was a problem and all that. So that's like Furious 7. I've got that as in my top
That's
3.
all about.
Is that Ronda
Deaths.
Rousey, Abu Dhabi?
They're
Yes.
mourning. Dom and Brian are mourning the death of Han after being killed in Tokyo Drift. They're forced to team up with Hobbs and Shaw
Yeah.
to take down Deckard Shaw, apparently. And that one, they successfully take him
Team
down.
Up with Hobbs and Shaw to take down Shaw.
Well,
Just team up with Hobbs.
Yeah, you know me. Take down Shaw.
And they avenge Han's death when they get the better of him. But yes, I think that's the Abu
That's
Dhabi
when
jump.
Jason Statham is the best bad guy ever.
Yes.
Mm.
He is an absolute.
But yeah, I think that's my top 3 with the first one and the 5th one.
Yeah.
I think they're my
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, that's top of 3. My best one, I think, is Fast Fate of the 8 is when Dom goes rogue because it turns out he's got a son with Elena.
Yep.
It
And well, he's a baby still. And Shaw comes back to be a good guy. He's helped
Against-
save the baby.
Yeah.
And
against
quite
Charlie's
a
Theron.
unreal sequence on the plane, saving
Yeah.
the baby and stuff. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah. That's when we first meet Charlize Theron as Cypher. That's her
Yeah.
first.
Yes.
Comes into it being a
And
cyber terrorist.
Which also a great replacement for Jason Statham being a bad guy.
Mm.
She nails being a bad guy pretty good.
That's my fourth best. That's the one I've got just behind. The top three are the top three. I think 8 is next after it. I think.
what have we got next? Fast 9 was probably one of the worst ones, I think. It's
That
low on
was-
my list.
I didn't
I'll-
hate it.
I watched this very recently for the first time, just before not just before
Yep.
starting the podcast, but very close to watching Fast 10, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite basic. There wasn't anything too mental in it. So
What about space?
it's probably the middle. If I think, why? Oh, sorry, take it back. Yeah. I have a car in space. Other than that,
with,
it's quite
with some
normal.
gaffer tape and
Yeah.
Roman just going, yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
space.
I forgot the crazy. But actually, I thought I was going to hate the whole them having to go to space thing, but it was just
it's
funny.
It's done believably well, even though it's just the two random guys from one of the old Fast and Furious. He's like, yeah, we can
Yeah.
build a rocket ship, no problem.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's just a car. That's what they said. That it's
Yeah.
space.
I don't like
Yeah.
everybody seems to come back.
Yeah.
Like, for a little bit. Oh my god, fly, piss
I've
off.
got one too. It's fucking carriage down here.
But yeah,
Um,
that's in the middle for me. That's 6th, I think.
Oh,
But
it's near the
that's
bottom for me.
one viewing that one.
Then there's Hobbs and Shaw, but that doesn't really play any
It does.
part at all.
That
in any of
introduces
Fast
the
and
one
Furious.
and only.
Oh,
How
my
do you
God.
get a stale franchise to some better? You've already brought in Jason Statham. Let's bring in Ryan fucking Reynolds.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Reynolds is in it. I kept
Yeah.
thinking that the Shaw sister was going to come back in Fast 10.
Yeah.
I think
I
she
thought-
might.
She was no,
In
she,
next ones.
well, she didn't.
But
but yeah,
in the next
I
one.
can't wait for her
There's
to-
time yet.
I can't wait for her to rock up. Like, oh, she'll come into it, and then I guess she was filming Mission Impossible and couldn't be in it. I
And
guess.
Fast 9 is the re-return of Han, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, like that. That's Fast 9, where he just and as they all do, they just randomly walk into a scene. It's like, oh yeah, I wasn't dead all this time. Oh yeah, and I've got a family member. In all this time we spent flying around the globe, I've never mentioned to anybody. He wasn't a family member. It was just a little girl who also wasn't in the 10th one. I've just realised this little girl who he was like the guardian of in F9 just
There's
didn't
a
appear.
lot going on in Fast
Oh,
10.
yeah.
We'll get to
Aye.
that.
She was like a member of the team. It's, oh yeah, she's going to be nah. Bother getting her in Fast 10. Although saying that, there were 47,000 people in Fast 10, so it doesn't really matter. Fast 10 though, we caught up, Chris. Is that your?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't know where I put Hobbs and Shaw because it's not on this list I've got on this app here.
I like it.
It's quite low on my list. I like it, but it's got nothing to do with Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
Yes.
I quite like Idris Elba in it as well. But anyway, probably in the middle for me too. Fast 10, we're on to. Do you want me?
Yeah, and
I'll,
you've got John Cena on this 9 as well, isn't it?
oh yeah, John Cena appeared. He's the villain. We didn't talk about
This
But
is
yeah.
what annoys me. People who are bad come back as good.
Which
Yep,
we'll get on to.
everybody-
That guy explains it perfectly in this film.
Yeah,
The-
exactly.
The barbecue principle.
Yeah. Okay, synopsis for Fast 10, since we are now there, I'll do this and save Chris's blushes. Presented by thefastsaga.com. Yes, it's actually from the
Yes.
official website. And there's a lot of information here, which is what we're going to need, I think. The end of the road begins. Fast 10, the 10th film in the Fast and Furious saga, not certainly true, launches the final chapters of one of cinema's most storied and popular global franchises, now in its 3rd decade and still going strong with the same core cast and characters as when it began. That's a very long sentence. Over many missions and against impossible odds, Dom Toretto and his family have outsmarted, outnerved, and outdriven every foe in their path. Now they confront the most lethal opponent they've ever faced, a terrifying threat emerging from the shadows of the past, who's fueled by blood revenge, and who is determined to shatter this family and destroy everything and everyone that Dom loves forever. In 2011's Fast 5, Dom and his crew took out nefarious Brazilian drug kingpin Hernan Reyes and decapitated his empire on a bridge in Rio de Janeiro. What they didn't know was that Reyes' son Dante, played by Jason Momoa in Fast 10, witnessed it all and has spent the last 12 years masterminding a plan to make Dom pay the ultimate price. Dante's plot will scatter Dom's family from Los Angeles to the catacombs of Rome, from Brazil to London, and from Portugal to Antarctica. New allies will be forged and old enemies will resurface. But everything changes when Dom discovers that his own 8-year-old son, played by Leo Abello Perry, is the ultimate target of Dante's vengeance. Directed by Louis Leterrier, Fast 10 stars returning cast members Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Natalie Emmanuel, Jordana Brewster, Sung Kang, Jason Statham, John Cena, and Scott Eastwood. with Oscar winner Helen Mirren and Oscar winner Charlize Theron. The film also features an extraordinary new cast, including Oscar winner Brie Larson as Tess, a rogue representative from the agency. Alan Rickson as Ames, that's the first time I've seen his name, the new head of the agency, who doesn't hold the same fondness for Dom's crew as his predecessor, Mr. Nobody. Daniela Melchior as a Brazilian street racer with a powerful tie to Dom's past. And legendary Oscar winner Rita Moreno as Dom and Mia's Abuelita Toretto? Granny Toretto, basically.
Granny.
There you go, that's everybody who's
What
in
film?
this film. It's about a lot of people in this film. And I've noticed that there are 4 Oscar winners in it, all women, which is kind of weird. It says a lot about the male cast that they have in the film.
Muscles.
Who picked Fast X? Well, it was fate. It was the wheel that decided.
It was fate. It's the fate of the furious.
Fate of the wheeliest. Meant they did Fast 10. Had we seen it before? I hadn't.
I did.
And Andy had been to the movie since he did it. Which channel would find it on? I guess like Sky Box Office or something at this point. That's probably find it, or Amazon Prime or Apple. And there is only one version, so there's no point discussing all the different versions that there could and would be. I'm sure there'll be some sort of extended cut at some point.
There needs to be a certain version, which I'll talk about later on.
Cool. I'm assuming it's coming in at low points. High points is where we go with point number 2. The best bits and things. I'm going to start off because mine is the beginning. A reasonable and plausible integration of Jason Momoa into the events of Fast 5.
Yeah,
it did
100% agree.
Take away anything from Fast 5.
Nope.
He could have been just that guy in that car doing that thing, and that was fine, and it didn't ruin anything. It didn't change anything, and I thought that was fine and acceptable. And it's having just seen Fast 5 like 2 days before, I was kind of like, do I really need 6 minutes of this film again? Because I've seen all of this.
Yes, you do.
It's pretty good. It wasn't so bad, but it was a wee bit
This
too
is where
much.
I always have problems. Like I said last week in the Transformers podcast, they try and do a prequel, and it's like, the fuck are you doing? Whereas I like films that do this. It's like you're using the old films and adding a bit into it to make your story for a feature film. So it's like a futuristic prequel.
He was there. He was the character that wasn't quite. It's kind of like we always talk about. Andy always mentions how the Fast Furious, they're superheroes basically. Momoa wasn't at full power yet. He had been bitten by the radioactive spider. I don't know, homosexual radioactive spider that turned him into a really gay man for half of the film for some reason. The campest man in action movies. But yeah, this was his like career starting point. It's an origin story of how Momoa became Dante.
Yep.
But yes, a high point. Fast 5. It's the best one. Thanks for showing me a bit more. And yes, I'll accept that Reyes' son was there. All good. Andy, why don't you carry on with high points?
So I went into this really not knowing what was happening. And after you've seen space travel, you're like, fuck, what are they going to do next? And I heard rumors that there's going to be time travel. And then when you see a DeLorean turn up, you're like, fuck, they're going to go and do this shit. And I was like, that's a futuristic DeLorean. It's like, oh, we're screwed here. But then it was just a really good scene with Charlize Theron, which is like, she's a big bad bitch. And then she just knocks on Dom's door. He's got his anger, I'm going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. But her flashback of what actually happened, brilliant. The introduction to the man behind Chris is probably my favorite bad guy introduction in any film. It's just like, how did he just make this team? And it's like, and he just starts naming people's kids and dads, and it's just like, this is fucking brilliant how he's done this.
I've got it titled as "A Momoa walks into Cypher's office" is my next point, and it's like, yeah, it's brilliant. Him revealing, oh yeah, I've actually got every single one of your families,
and then he kills the one guy.
And then kills one guy. It's like, he didn't have any.
No record of him.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. That's how you introduce a guy.
He's gonna pop up more than once, but Jason Momoa is now my new favorite actor. Like everything about this film, he absolutely fucking nailed. Right from the start of just being menacing.
Spoiler alert. Jason Momoa in real life is exactly like that. He's not acting, so we might give him Best Acting Award later on or whatever. That is just him being him with lines. He's basically saying what he wants to, like you want him to say, but just doing whatever the fuck he wants in between. Yeah. And you can quite clearly see that.
It's not a low point or a high point for me, Momoa, but he is a law unto himself. I think he might be in the wrong movie, but like Andy says, it's kind of, that's just what Momoa is. He just he is a unique individual. So it's because he's like, it presents a different character. Like the last few,
he's a complete different bad guy because everybody's being like a big hulking guy. He is flamboyant. He's completely unhinged. Like there's a lot of things. He's like talking to himself at points, and he's like blaming everybody else for doing stuff. He's like, That's a bad idea.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Anyway.
at one point, there's 2 dead people taped up in his back garden.
That's a high point. I'm adding that to high point right now.
That
Didn't
weekend
see
of
it coming.
Bunnies bit, it floored me.
I just don't get it. It was just like, oh, he's just there talking. He's got tape on his eyes. Oh, they're all dead. It's just like,
Fly
why?
singer.
You see him paint some of his nails.
Yeah.
I'm like, has he captured Dom? And he's just talking about his
Yeah.
Dom. And you see with the bunches, the pink robe, and he's like, Jesus sees his colours, blah blah blah. Just leave them. And he sits to this other guy. His head just falls down. He goes, pay attention.
It's just he is needed at times in this film. He just makes it like you get a bit of slump and it's like, oh, there's Jason Momoa. He's back doing Jason Momoa things.
It's just
Energy. It might not be good or bad, but there's energy he puts into
It's
it.
a different feel, and it gives something, which this film needs at times. It needs a wee bit different energy. So yeah, I'm glad for it. Chris, any high points from you?
Yeah, Roman's Rome heist is my next point.
Yeah, I've got basically chasing the flaming bomb down the streets of Rome is my next high point. So
I
yes,
call
the
this the Rocket League part of the film.
Rocket League. There we go.
I don't know if you remember my little mini review where I said there was just a bit of the film, which is pretty much as soon as Charlize Theron comes in, it's almost action for like 45 minutes. And it's like, this is a climax of any film ever made.
Yeah.
This is the start of a film. It's just like, this is an end bit scene here.
Yeah.
They do. That is the pattern. Chris has obviously watched more than I have, but the pattern is film starts. There's usually some action-packed bit, and then you get like the rest of the film, and then it ends with the act. Like, pretty much every film you can go like, oh well, there's that bit at the beginning and that bit at the end, and that's kind of bookmark all the Fast and Furious films with these major set pieces. And for this one, it's the Rocket League.
I was always expecting them to like stop it. I thought James Momoa's going to get foiled and he's going to have to do something else to get them. I was not expecting the size of the blast that came out of that bomb. That was mental.
People also make fun of like there's nothing Dominic Toretto can't do, but I think he's
the little save his bomb's gonna hit his lady.
Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah.
His save, if you want to call it, in this is under. Like, I believe it. Like, it's plausible. It's funny how I think this film sets it up on any others. That Dominic Toretto's superpower isn't that he's like unkillable. It's that he could do with his car, make it go really fast. Because every moment that I don't know what I'm going to do. There's no way to save it from here. Like, I know what to do. Shit. And then he saves the day in some fashion, as every single way. So yeah, this one, him jumping off, swinging the crane around, hitting
that bit was fucking hilarious. It's just like, don't worry, guys. I've got this. It's like, how did you work out the mechanics of that? There was 1,000,001 shots.
No, I think it's possible. I think I can see. Okay, I can see how that would work. And it's like he didn't say anything. It kind of.
It's just the chances of it. This man has got like clairvoyance. I don't know, superpowers. He can read the lines. He knows physics.
Yeah, physics is to be superpowered. Like, if I, what's the wind? The wind.
Yeah, he's just got it down. He's like, it's just NOS button. Boom, crane goes flying. Hits it perfectly.
Every other car's like, here we go, something's happening.
Yeah.
Twisting the wee tank. Yeah. But yeah, Rome is definitely a high point, despite the fact that everybody in the universe, except from Roman, could see that it was a setup one way or another. I've got a job.
Many
First time.
as well.
I've got to me again, so I'll slip in my next high point because it kind of started. These guys, John Cena and Lil B, the annoying kid in the film wasn't annoying. I quite like that aspect. He was fine, Little B. I didn't mind the boy being in it. There was a plausible reason for him to get in the film, although I did realise about 3/4 of the way through that the baddies came and captured Dom's family, i.e. his son and his sister.
Yep.
The son gets away. They spend the rest of the film chasing the son to save him. But like they've already got the sister. Like they're not going to try and save Mia at any point. Like she gets captured.
She got away.
No, she got away. Yeah,
she got away in I think one of their trucks. So
yeah,
I'm
Brian Gore.
So
that's the other superpower you have to remember. Whoever's with Brian is untouchable and untraceable.
He as well.
Yeah, Brian is the ultimate spy in this film that goes unhinged. You just don't know where he's going to be.
But yeah, fine. John Cena not playing Jacob Toretto in this film, just being John Cena.
Yes.
Like,
John Cena, funny man.
One day I was watching Fast 9 where here's heel John Cena being a bad guy and being wooed by the power of Dominic Toretto at the end of the film to just being a funny John Cena guy who's like a single man living in his old car with his
He didn't really forget the family issues, didn't he? Just a barbecue, I'm telling you, barbecues.
Yeah.
But
I
Everybody
loved
needs
his
a good
ultimate
barbecue.
AA he gave to the guy in the
Yeah.
thing, but just like straight through the floor.
That whole scene, that was a high point for me. It was just like you just see him randomly shooting the wall. It's like you're fucking missing your Berlin.
Oh,
What are you doing?
That was a bit to go on the low point. So like he's some fucking super spy. He just aim at the wall and then
And then suddenly the next scene, he's using it as fucking shooting holes. It's like,
I was
oh,
like, that's
he's
genius.
got it down. He knows what he's doing.
But yeah, I did not mind at all the kind of comic relief storyline of the uncle.
But like, I liked everything they did. Is like just even like when he gets the shit car, but then it's got that fucking the kayak on the top.
Yeah,
that's like,
yeah.
that's-
Use the
and then
plane.
he's got his plane. He drops down. Just every part of it, it just works.
It's very good. High points, Andy.
My next thing, I think, is probably when we actually get back to Fast and Furious grassroots, which is a scene behind Chris when the face
That's my
off.
fault. It would be a Fast and Furious like some slow motion tits and ass shots at least one race.
Oh, you got me there.
Every single film, and it's always Brazil or the Dominican Republic, so slow motion ass shots.
Because it's been a long time since we've actually had a proper kind of like that. Like the last couple have just not had a proper street race.
The I personally, it didn't sit with me perfectly because I didn't have like the weird drug induced kind of like everything going
Yeah, you liked it.
space, which I liked from the first film. I was waiting for that to happen, but it didn't quite happen.
It's just the scene behind like Tim. He's got
Yeah.
no guns and he's just stroking other people's guns. He's like, yeah, look at my preciouses.
And he's just like standing as well, just going, here's an idea, man. Just start shooting, see what happens. He just
Yeah,
built like wanting chaos. He just wants, and then he goes, fuck it, we'll just race. And then he's just sitting in the car going, I know what you're asking. I think, yes, the curtains do match the drapes. He's like, I love you, Dom. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
it's just it's just
flamboyant.
perfectly an unhinged bad guy,
Yeah.
which I like because you don't
He's
actually know what he
different.
wants. It's
Mm.
like, does he want to kill Dom? Does he want to just get the kid? Does he just?
You could do
just wants to
anything
crush-
anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's chaos.
The,
But no, I did like that scene. Yeah,
it
old
was-
school.
It was a good fun drag race. I'm not exactly sure how, in that race. I don't have it in low points, but someone can maybe shut me down if they do. How did Dom know that he'd put bombs on the other two? Like this whole thing is happening. It's a quarter of-
Because
I don't
Dom's
think I
got
knew about the
superpowers
first-
and can see the future.
yeah, but it's,
he
Sorry,
thought
Chris.
something was going to happen because Don was saying how you can't save them all.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, what do you mean you can't save them all?
yeah.
And then he went ahead, he's like, bang. He's like, oh shit, that means there's something up.
Yeah.
Car.
Well, no, he had to decide that prior to the bang. That was the whole point. Man.
Yeah,
Was
he
like, you
had
have to
to
pick
decide, yeah.
your pal who you had 2 scenes with in Fast 5, or this new girl who you know who it is, but the people watching the film don't know who that is yet. You have to pick
Yeah.
one of them. And then he went, I picked this one and hit her with his car, which is weird. But this one is like, okay, I'm blowing up your buddy.
Perfectly and hitting the thing and getting the bomb off. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this man, physics. He knows
But,
physics.
but yeah, it was good having a drag race back in it this way. Chris, high points.
It's a random one. The TIE fighter.
Aye.
He's
What's
going through
TIE
the
fighter?
bridge.
Yeah.
Why not?
Came out of nowhere.
Was it a? Because they talked in Fast 9 a lot about Star Wars. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
trying to think, oh, is that a callback to something? But it was the previous one. It was Charlize Theron and the guy who
You
wasn't
kept calling him Yoda and stuff.
in the
Yeah.
previous one. They had the Star Wars discussion. So there's always like a little bit of Star Wars apparently in these things. Are we on to the final chase yet? Because that's my
That's
last.
pretty much it, yeah. I've got one more just before it is Jason Momoa again. When he's standing on that tower and he starts sliding down to chase after people, he does a little ballet jump like that. It cracked me up. It just came out of nowhere.
I'll definitely be adding more high points than your low points. Don't worry.
Yeah,
so.
you're arguing, no doubt. So I've got final chase, cannon car, and
Yep.
helicopters is
Yep.
what I've got. The final chase down there. I feel like they've settled into a pattern of maybe every second Fast and Furious movie ends on like a dual carriageway, and it's like, what's going to happen on this like 10-mile stretch of dual carriageway? And this one was, we're going to get a helicopter and shoot your car and lift it off the ground because we take the car away from him. They've learned take
Yeah.
the car away from him. You can't do all that
Genius.
stuff.
But once again, NOS prevails over
yeah,
helicopters.
exactly. It's like my superpower though. Ha
I think I've said it before, but my favorite cinematic moment wasn't like a film. It was about a film, but it was this best way to put this stereotypical, not American black woman,
hmm
very much British, but she acted like an American black woman. And I think it was like Fast 7 or something like that when Dom's first big jump to catch Letty.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's
and
where he flies. I know what you mean.
yeah, and he flies. And then this woman just stood up in the cinema going, "That's true love. That is true love." And she's just hitting her boyfriend or husband just there. That's what you do. That is love. And I was just like,
Why can't you fly and save me?
yeah, this is what I wanted from a cinema experience, and this woman gave me it. It was amazing.
Greatest you've ever had in a movie.
Yeah. And it was just that moment when his son jumps as well. It's just like, it was a callback. I just had visions of this woman in the cinema shouting again, going, "That's it. That's my boy."
That's true love. That's my son. That's
Yeah.
my son. But yes, I really like the cannon car. That came out of nowhere to be a really enjoyable thing. I'm not really sure why the idiot boy actually went into the back to fix it when it wasn't needed at that point, but I'll give him that. He was silly that bit. But yeah, the helicopter bit, I really enjoyed that. Him bringing the helicopters down. The whole chase is really good. Sad to see John Cena sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
At that
Oh,
point.
he'll be back. Fucking hell.
I like that.
He's definitely coming
Not
back.
definitively. His car didn't explode. I noticed that. Like, specifically, he kind of landed, and then there was a bunch of explosions. So he could be back. He's frozen. And then that kind of goes on to the next wee bit, which is I personally did not see the agency heel turn coming. The guy.
I genuinely didn't. Like, I like that guy. I mean, ever since I watched Blue Mountain State, I love that show.
Oh, was he in that? Was he?
Yeah, he's like the main guy in Blue Mountain State.
He's
Thad.
Jack Reacher now, apparently.
Yeah, and he's like he's Thad. He's the idiot jock in Blue Mountain State. Literally has his little pocket pussy thing. It's the ongoing joke in that series. To see him just bulk up, be Jack Reacher, and then just be this menacing FBI agent, I was like, yeah, these guys are good. It's like, you've just had, what you call him, Kurt Russell. He's part of your agency. This guy cannot possibly turn. What a twist it was.
But to also go down the route of, I'm the real agency. These guys have do it wrong. I'm going to do it properly. I'll catch Dom. I'm doing it properly. I'm going to catch these bad guys. I'm going to do it properly. And then finally get the one scene. He has the Hobbs scene where it's like, oh, these baddies are badder than the baddie I'm trying to catch.
Yep.
Dom, I'm going to team up with you. And I'm like, finally, he's Hobbsed him. And then for him to actually, I've been with him Momoa the whole time. And it's like, very good.
I'm going to give you my first low point because.
Should we move on to low points then?
Well,
I'm ready.
Right.
Oh, you're
moving on.
What's 3 low points?
The Ames twist. Don't put a fucking unit of a man in a bright blue suit at the start. Because I was drawn to this blue suit and I was like, all right, and there's a blonde guy. And he's a fucking unit.
So did you see him in the scene at the beginning?
At the start, I went to this
blue
suit and then I forgot about it. And then when I see it, I was like, I was expecting, but it helps Dom so much. It kind of just confused me.
That's
you
why.
had a chance to kill him.
That's the Jason Momoa madness.
But is he not helping Dom get
to all the pieces in place
and then get to the bridge and then get to where the trap's going to be?
He threw him a gun. What if he shot Jason Momoa? He's like, oh, this is backfired big time.
Fair enough, yeah.
How you stuck in the back of a van with him? You could just went, boom, that's it. No more Dom Toretto.
Well, the whole thing is, look at Dante.
Mm.
He wants to make a scene. He wants to make a showing of getting revenge. Like, it's not a... He's in the old Bond villain style. It's like, if I just wanted to kill James Bond, I could kill him. But it's not about that. It's about how I do it, and it's the lesson that he learns. The last thing he sees before he dies and all that.
Yeah.
But then Dante blow up the van with him inside it.
Aye.
I could have blew up Dom and him.
But he knew what he was doing.
I don't know. It's probably... Going into low points here is not a good time to say this, but you probably shouldn't dwell on it too long, Chris.
It starts to unravel.
So low points. Obviously, I know why. Obviously, but why wasn't Brian at the Familia barbecue at the beginning? Because Mia was there. But I know why. Obviously, he's dead, but he's not dead. And it's this hole they've got themselves into, which is nice. They don't have to kill off him because the actor died. They don't have to kill him off. But don't set up, just don't have Mia there. Like, if she wasn't there, I would be thinking, where's Brian? Thinking, here's the team together. Brian and Mia, because he's dead, they're doing their own thing. But the fact that Mia's kind of in this film, and always it is the next biggest, it's the biggest, it's the biggest, it's the biggest. It's like, does Brian just not care anymore? It's like, as a character.
He mentioned as well. He said, there's a spacer, he's on his way.
He's actually in the film.
Yeah. It's pissed me off. They should have just killed Brian when they had the chance and made that person.
I reckon they're going to do something spectacular in the next. They're
going to wait for AI to get so good that you can.
It's going to be mind blowing. You're just going to be looking like Paul Walker and be like, "Fuck me, this is amazing."
See if Dante kills him or Cypher killed him, they would be the ultimate bad guy.
No, because that's the problem. You can't have a bad guy. Every bad guy. I'm still half expecting part 2. Jason Momoa is going to have one of them famous barbecues. He's going to be part of the team.
Cypher is already like going into the next one. She's
Yeah.
part of the team now.
Yeah.
It's like she was
And she's not
the
even at the
baddest man
barbecue
for, like,
yet.
3 films. It's like,
Yeah.
but no,
That is-
Paul Walker can survive. Like, I'm happy with Brian surviving. That is fine. It's nice to see that happening, but he needs to just not be involved. And poor Jordana Brewster's career is going to get ruined by it. But just let them go off and not be in it anymore, and stop bringing them back.
I reckon there's going to be a payoff. Don't you worry.
He's saving the day. And the final scene of the final film, Paul Walker.
He's jumping out. He's doing the Vin Diesel, and I'm going to stand up in cinema going, yes.
See if like they had filmed this years ago. It's like, just in case you never know.
Yeah.
She's actually there.
His brother can. He put a face on. It'll be fine. His brother can do
I'm
it.
sure I've read somewhere that his brothers don't want to do it.
No, his brother apparently has done scenes on this film, but they never used any of them, so which makes me believe it's coming.
They'll throw enough money at him that he'll
Yeah.
Next low point. Dom and Han in the garage at the barbecue is some of the worst acting in the whole series. And Vin Diesel, I'm sorry, he's not very good.
No. Right, that is. I'll take that as a low point because, like, he came out after this film going, "Oh, Jason Momoa stole my thunder." It's like, yes, because you were pretty shit. Like, you produced this film. You brought everybody back. You brought The Rock back. All because they're all like Ludacris. Everybody else all acts pretty perfectly. Even what do you call him, Pete Davidson, who we completely glossed over, which I quite liked as a scene.
He was alright.
But even he stole scenes, and Vin Diesel, every scene he was in, is just so wooden and just says the word family. I don't give a fuck about your family, Don.
It's like that. Like, he just doesn't do anything. He, like, his one scene every film where he gets a wee bit sad, he has to have a heart-to-heart about something with somebody. But yeah, he's just so anonymous.
Abuelita just looks so awkward.
Yeah,
it's just awful. And then Han, like, obviously his first language is not English, but I don't know how he was ever the star of his own movie because he was horrendous. And every line he says in this as well is awful. But that one
I think his
scene,
plastic surgery's kicked in.
maybe his hair. He needs to control his hair. He needs to grow shorter and longer as he goes through every scene. But yeah,
high point. Jason Statham. Just carry on.
That's a high point. Okay, well, we'll go on him in a minute. I start to lose my head a wee bit in my notes here. Every line that is spoken makes me roll my eyes in this film. But it's like everything is the obvious thing to say. Every gag, every action movie kind of line. I'm just like, ugh. And then I think Roman is the least funny comic relief in any film ever, and that's my stance.
I know. I quite like this receipt thing.
Yeah. I love these receipts.
But then he said it 3 times, and I'm like,
that's
say
what Roman
once.
Does.
It's like,
Roman's
God.
meant to be the annoying comic relief, and he annoys you, so it works.
He is never funny. I'm leaning towards, if there's going to be I'm thinking a new award next season, the least funny person in the film, and I might call it the Roman, whatever his surname is. Roman Award for least funny comic relief in a film. It's never funny, and it's always drive home the joke and stab it in your face 5 times. Ha 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 ha. It's like, no, it's not funny every single time. I'll let you guys have some low points.
I was going to say a quick mention. Since Pete Davidson was in, I don't like him. I don't get the hype around him at all.
I don't get him.
What is with the random muffin that Han ate to make him go all drugged up?
Low point, internet cafe scene. The 2 idiots having an idiot fight for no reason, plus a drug trip for no reason, just for a
you wanted that hallucination, fast-moving thing.
Not like that. That's not because it's funny. Look, he's on drugs. Look at the straight man being all on drugs for like 10 seconds, and then the movie just moves on. I've no idea. Why. Even trusting Pete Davidson's character in the first place.
I would have trusted him.
Stupid thing to do, and him in front of them to be like, "Oh, I've dobbed these all in. Whoops, you're the most wanted criminals in the world." It's like, but you went not in front of them. They're like, "Oh, you 4 people, you're highly wanted criminals. I've just accidentally, or maybe on purpose, given you all away for the money. You're not going to kill me, are you? Like, you're already the most wanted people in the world." Sorry, Chris, I stepped on you.
No, that was basically. I don't understand what the whole drug thing was about. Yeah, they have that fight like that, and then being accomplished fighters against proper people like 2 minutes ago.
Because they're having like a fight. Like, it's just like they don't actually want to hurt each other. So therefore, what's the point you put in the film? Just having the 2 morons squabbling with each other. Hot take. I think the agency has ruined the Fast and Furious franchise. If they just had, here is The Rock, who represents the government. Oh, he's gone with Dom. We'll now have Mr. Nobody. He is this mysterious kind of Mr. X character who works for the government. and he comes to you with jobs. We need you to unofficially steal this for us, or this has unofficially been stolen from us. Go get it back. That would have worked fine. As soon as they bring in the agency, Cypher with her cyber terrorism, we've got these super flying things, we've got these magical things that do that. That's when the story has gone hellish. If it was just heists, going and stealing things, driving fast cars, maybe having to race them often, it would be so much better. I think the whole agency aspect has ruined the Fast and Furious franchise. That's my hot take.
That blue room where we get a little recap of everything we meet Brie Larson for the first time. Why is it so fucking big? And why is it such shit CGI? And why is the camera constantly spinning around to the point where I'm feeling sick?
You've mentioned her. We mentioned her in passing. I don't even have her in low points. Why is Brie Larson in this film?
Why not?
Because what does her character do? That like
That's nobody's daughter.
No, but okay, that's who she is. But why?
Because they need to get Letty and Cypher out, and they need somebody to work it
To be
out.
fair, Letty could have just been hurt in the bike thing and just got.
The two most dangerous, or the hardest people in the film, Cypher and like they could have got out on their own. Like they could easily.
Cypher definitely was. She didn't even need Brie Larson to do anything.
Exactly. There's no need for Brie Larson in this film other than let's get Brie Larson in this film. It's like when they put Ronda Rousey in the last film. It's like, we'll put her in the film and she can fight Letty at one scene. Like Brie Larson's in it to be in it more. She's going to be in the next one. She's not dead or whatever like that. Every scene she's in, she's just an extra person that doesn't need to be there. And it's like, I don't know why.
You did get that heroic shot with him lifting them up and just seeing her arse. Just full focus on her arse for no apparent reason.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Well, not even a low point. I just realised that she has no reason to be in this film. I guess, could they not get Kurt Russell anymore? Why is Mr. Nobody?
I think saving him. He must be doing something else, but I think he's like in hiding.
But yeah,
he's with Paul Walker. That's what he's doing. He's going to try to find Paul Walker.
Two of them are doing that. My next low point goes as follows. Fighting is my next point. There's about an hour of this film that's just fist fight.
Right.
Fist fight.
I'm
fist fight. Fist fight, fist fight, fist fight. At this point, I'm like, please can I have a car chase or something? This film is about cars. Less of the furious, more of the fast, please. But honestly, because there's 40 people in the cast, we go from like 3 of them having a fight to 4 of them having a fight to 2 of them having a fight to 4 of them having a fight, and I'm like, I don't care. Someone's smacking somebody. And
I did. I love Vin Diesel punching the punch bag. That's brilliant.
It just grinds you down. It's like I don't care about fighting anymore. Like it doesn't mean if all fights end in a draw and nobody actually gets anything wrong with them, what's the point in having it?
I will say the best fight was on the bridge. I forgot to mention my high points is between Dom and Dante. Dante never throws a punch once. And then Dom just beats shit out of him. And then he just, you don't know your strength, just chucks a tooth at him and goes, your butthole.
Yeah. And he did lift a car one-handed. What ledge?
Oh, that's coming up later on.
I think that's believable. I think he could have done that. Like,
he does. He's got superhuman strength.
I think leverage-wise, I think he still could have done it. I still feel like we've got a great idea for something he can do with the car.
Not with one hand, sure.
He can. It's Dom.
It hit one guy, basically. Is all it did.
I do have a low point. It's not Nick picking like you guys. Why did John Cena have the suicide attack? He could have quite clearly aimed his car towards there, blew it up because like he kind of jumped the car. He still had time to just go bye and jump out of the car.
He also had the kid had reloaded it, so everything was working again. And because he moved his cannons to jump him, he just could have fired all the cannons.
Yeah, all he was losing was fuel. He still had a bit in. He could just fired it. Cleared the way and went, bye Dom, I can't do it anymore. The suicide bit ruined it for me.
He just could have stopped. Dom would have got away, or at worst, the two of them would have been captured, and they would have got out of being captured. Like, no reason for suicide.
I mean, I'm going to miss that little happy face behind Bruce. He just brought in so much energy as well.
Yeah, I know.
Because of that reluctant to kill people, I'm expecting him to be back in the next film.
Oh yeah,
horribly disfigured or I don't know.
Untouched. He can't be bad guy team. He has to be a good guy team for life. But
let's get some Letty amnesia.
Next low point. This is probably around about the fighting where I was losing the head. There are 1 million people in this film, and they're all just doing stuff. There's a period where the film does not move forward for about 3/4 of an hour because they're all just doing bits. I'm doing this. Ramsey, who I've not mentioned yet, I feel really bad for Natalie Emmanuel. I think her accent makes her sound more wooden than she is. But her major problem that Ramsey has is she literally just has to explain the plot. Any scene she's in, She just has to be like, I'm going to do this, and this will go to the uplink, and because we've got the uplink, we can do this, and then someone else will speak. Yeah, but because we can now take this thing, and I've now got that thing, we can put these two things together, and we can stop this, and we can go do that. Have you got a way of getting us there? Oh yeah, I've got a car. Swooshy cut to having the car. Like that's that's the only forward momentum the film has for about an hour. It's just Ramsey in her plot download scenes where she just explains what's happening. But it's just like I was so bored in the middle because it wasn't a fist fight. It was people just not doing anything. It's like, why is there so many characters? I lost my head in the middle here. So I only have one more low point, and it's right near the end.
I've got a random one. Walkie-talkies. Like throughout the entire franchise, they've used walkie-talkies to communicate on their jobs, which I've got no issue with. What I do have an issue with is some random guy who's got not part of their team whatsoever, having the exact same walkie-talkies on the exact same frequency, and they're talking away to him.
Oh, they're on private
I'm
channels.
going to get you.
You pay for private channels on a walkie-talkie.
Aye, but this random guy, bad guy's got the same channels as them, and they're just talking away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like Jason Momoa. That's because he's smart and he can hack into it.
The walkies. I lost the head when it was quite near the end. Actually, it was when Cena appeared in his car and just all of a sudden could walkie-talkie Dom.
Yeah. And
I'm like, oh, well, doesn't seem to be. Like, say Momoa then cuts into their channel, and it's like, how? And also, it's like that. Plus, Letty in her bicycle helmet also has a constantly open channel that she can speak to them, and then people who are miles away can still communicate. It makes like at least with the Avengers, I can believe. Okay, Shield has got this little earpiece thing that they can all stick in their ears, and some scenes they do that. And this, they just need to just pluck a radio out with it. And other scenes, in the drag race, Momoa is sitting like as far away, like one side of a car to another. Engines, crowds. He's just like, Dominic, I'm going to tell you this now. This is very important. There's like so much noise behind it.
No, they've got intercoms in the cars, haven't they?
Of course they do.
Through the radio.
This random stranger that's pulled up next to them.
They've got like Bluetooth on the radio frequencies so they can all talk to each other.
What channel are you on? Oh, 77.
That's how it rolls.
Movie magic is the only way these people can actually have scenes together. I'm sorry. Yeah. Any other low points prior to the very end of the film, which is
I'm pretty much at the Hoover Dam jump.
What the F is what I've got, it's after the Hoover Dam. Sorry, he survived that. I believe that. The end of this film, when we get to the end, Dom has jumped off into the river.
They should have just left it at that bit.
His whole team has died.
Yeah.
Letty's in the Antarctic. Gal Gadot's back from being dead, and then the film just stops.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is called Fast 10. This is not called Fast 9.5. This is not called Fast 10 Part 1. At some point, yes, it may have been called Part 1 of something. Andy reviewed it, I'm sure, on the podcast, and he said the film doesn't end. But for none of this to get settled in 2.5 hours, after every single other Fast and Something or Other film has ended with a bit of plot to carry it on, but the story has ended. I was so annoyed when this film just stopped after 2.5 hours.
I was only annoyed because I feel like it should have just been like the bridge is about to blow up, shit, and then just cut there. But then to go straight into the Antarctic scene, I'm like, it feels like it's in the wrong order.
The whole, yeah, you're probably right, yeah. But I was just annoyed at the fact that it built up to a finale, and we don't actually know if everybody survived. And I was so angry at the end, so angry. Like it wasn't even like they stopped Momoa. Oh, we've stopped his grand plan. He's not going to blow up the dam. Oh, thank God. But he's still in the wind. It's like, no, Dom's still at the bottom of the cliff. The plane crashed with half the cast in it. It's like, you can't just end a film.
Just imagine, as soon as it finished, just flip the table over. No, this is not how it's supposed to be.
Honestly, I was so angry. Like, very few things this season have been so passionate about me sitting through 2.5 hours of this, for it just to stop. It wasn't like it ended; it just stopped. It's like, what? It's like, okay, even
TV. No.
Like, they killed off John Cena, but that was like 20 minutes before the end of the film. Even that wasn't the end of the film. It's carried on a bit, and it's like, FastX, here's some moving pictures of the cast. Oh, so annoyed that the film just stopped.
Right, I don't think we'd be that low point.
Right,
next point.
Okay, next point on the podcast. That's not the easiest film to track stats on. I will say that much. 12 shits, although somewhere on the internet said there was like 50 odd, which is not true. F-bombs, apparently there's some that aren't in English, but like they're subtitled in foreign languages, but in in English, no F-bombs whatsoever. Explosions, 74 explosions.
74.
They do a lot of the boom and then showing the same explosion from 5 different angles, but there are a lot of, I think there was like 20 explosions as he's going down the dam, because that big thing just keeps on exploding. If you listen in the background, just repeatedly keep hearing
bombs on that.
More fire. It was so much explosions. Deaths. Now this is, genuinely, I cannot tell you an answer. But watching it back again, and I noticed this watching Fast 5, I'm positive that Dom and Brian killed 14 people in Brazil. That's safe.
Yep. They wiped out a lot of fucking that thing.
Absolutely wrecking cars, like cubing cars, going into like the front of like a bank. I don't mean like a vault. I mean like an HSBC on the street of Brazil, just wiping out a bank. There had to be like 8 to 10 people in that bank that they just killed. So I think they killed 14 people on Brazil, and then after that, because that plane went down and the film ended, everybody on that plane is dead. So there's 59 deaths, I think, in this film. And that's been very, very, I don't know,
they come back.
Low on the count. So there's probably twice as many like bad guys who've been killed off. A lot of people got beaten up, but I'm not sure. Like at the end of the scene, they'd be lying flat on the ground. Like they could be dead, but they only got punched and hit with like the butt of a gun, so they might not be dead. But yeah, roughly 75 deaths in the film, I think. No cows, no goats, no dead animals whatsoever. I was really racking my brain. They were out in the wilderness, but I couldn't really remember any animals of any kind. Paedophile, I think we're in the clear here.
I think so.
So
John Cena's looking at him there is a bit weird.
So at one point, Moa said something to the boy about. They said something to the boy, and I was like, oh, but I didn't think actually that was how it was meant. The Tom Cruise Tackleberry trifecta.
Here we go. This is the one.
Well, because the film just stops, nobody gets the girl or the guy in the end.
I know. Wait.
Don't we have to change it to the Letty trifecta?
Well, I've got Letty rides a motorbike and Momoa rides a motorbike, and the two of them run in the film. Yep. But nobody gets the girl or the guy in the end because
Letty technically has Dom already. So.
Technically has Dom. However, Momoa quite clearly has Brie Larson. Pulls her out of the boot, so he gets the girl.
That doesn't count. I know. I can see. Okay, fair enough.
He gets the girl. He's got the girl. Kidnapped the girl.
In the spirit of the Tom Cruise. Because Tom Cruise, in some films where he runs and rides a motorbike, he starts married but still manages to get the girl in the end. Like the wife dies and then he still gets the girl.
There's another part. Jason Momoa might get Brie Larson in the end, and then
I think Letty is, unless she gets killed off for the 10th time, or whatever. I think she might be getting the Tom Cruise trifecta because she's the designated biker of the gang. So it might be the Letty. I thought at one point we might get a Toretto added to the trifecta, but it wasn't. Did they say the thing? Fast 10?
No.
Not even did anyone say fasten at any point. Fasten your seatbelt. They never said that. Did they say the thing? Family?
Yes.
27 times.
Did you count them?
Well, all over the internet, one of them says 56.
That's bullshit. It's the 56. There's no way.
I counted 27.
Right, I counted 10. So it must be slipped in a lot. But
Jason Momoa rattled off about 3 in one go.
He did. Yeah, I maybe only got 2 of them. But yeah, the reason I asked it was because the internet said 56 times. There's no chance. Well,
you accept La Familia because they say Familia at the start.
Yeah, that counts, I would say. But it's not 56.
There's about 8 there. They all say it.
Oh, if you do it that way, that counted to me as 1 because it was all set.
I'll drop mine down to 19 then.
Okay. The first one was 2 minutes in when Reyes says it to his son after they stole in the vault. Chris, any other stats from you?
Well, yeah. They said that 27. I'm going to stick to 27 because my maths is wrong otherwise. They said it 27 times in this film, which in total throughout the entire franchise, family is said 86 times.
86. How many are by Dom? Because I feel like he doesn't actually say it that
he doesn't say it a lot. I didn't count it specifically.
Everybody else talk about his family.
Yeah, it's kind of
he's not an egotistical family guy.
Yeah. And is Dom a superhero? Because throughout the franchise, he has got more superior detective skills than Batman does. Because he can recreate crime scenes and stuff like that. He flew through the air to catch Letty as she was falling. He's bulletproof and fireproof. But his main one seems to be super strength because it was already falling apart, but with one super stomp, he took down a multi-story car park.
Yes.
He is what was it, Fast 9? He brought like a silo down just by pulling chains.
That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
I think he's got like some
chains.
mechanical ability as well. Like he can like manipulate cars as well to do what they want.
I wasn't going to include that because Jesus Christ, the stuff he's done in the car.
Like
He's like
half of those
Magneto.
cars shouldn't be driving. Like even when it's falling out the plane, landed on another car, suspension's fucked straight away.
I think it's impossible to say that Dominic Toretto is not a superhero because I guess the rules of superhero-dom are dictated by Marvel and by DC. And what they class as superheroes is basically any of their superheroes. And like you say, you don't have to have super strength to be a superhero. You don't have to have don't have to be able to fly. But the fact that Dom has detective skills like Batman, has accuracy skills like Hawkeye, in his universe, he would be like, say the Avengers existed in the Fast and Furious, Dom would be an Avenger because of what he's able to do. So
if it wasn't for Hobson Shaw, like augmenting people, and so it turned out he's half cyborg, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair point because that's in the universe. Then they superheroes kind of exist because they can augment humans. So therefore, yes, actually, he has to be one of the superheroes. So yeah, I definitely Dominic Toretto is a superhero. Some of the rest might be as well. I know that Roman thinks he can't die, but I don't know. I don't know.
That's Fast 9. I love that bit.
Yeah. Andy, do you have a fun fact about Fast 10 for us?
I did, and it's completely went out of my head. What the fuck was it? I can't remember now.
It's almost supposed to come out 3 years ago or something like that.
Well, there was something like that. It's now a 3-parter rather than 2-parter. I know that.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact for you. There you go. It's not
That's
a fun
fun
fact
for me.
I had.
More Jason Momoa. So.
Yeah, this would be part 1 of a dual finale. Now it's part 1 of 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
On to the point 5 on the podcast. This is going to be the longest podcast of all time. Andy,
really
the quiz.
Because here we go. This is a good quiz. This is called Familia.
Familia. Okay.
So you'll get the gist of it, but it's about familias. Who wants to go first?
My turn. First.
Right, Bruce can go first.
Mm-hmm.
The Klopek brothers are characters in which 10-point podcast movie?
That's the Burbs.
That is the Burbs. Christopher goes first, so he was going to.
Yeah,
I actually knew that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right. Question 2. In Blade Trinity, which character does Jessica Biel portray?
Whistler's daughter.
I need more than that.
I don't know. She's called Jess.
No, Bruce. Steal the point.
Is she just called Whistler?
No, Abigail Whistler.
Ah, Abigail.
Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
What the name? What the name? What is the name of Liu Kang's brother in Mortal Kombat?
Still know this, so I need to get a good guess. I am blanking.
You have to hurry.
Shan.
I'll give you it. It's Shan or Chang Kan.
Oh, yeah.
Depends how you want to say it. So yeah, that's it. Chris, which actress stars as the mum of Forrest Gump?
Sally Field.
Yes. Bruce,
mm-hmm.
What relationship does Lena have to Malcolm in Beautiful Creatures?
Lena to Malcolm.
Or Macron, not Malcolm, sorry. Macron.
Ooh. Lena to Macron. Oh. Are they father and daughter?
No, Chris.
Is it niece?
And
uncle. Right.
Yes, niece and uncle.
Great uncle, I guess.
Chris. Lily Coyle appears as Valentina, daughter of Christopher Plummer's character in which movie?
Oh, fuck. What's it? The Imaginary of Dr. Parnassus.
Yes, it is. Bruce, which 2 characters are brother and sister in Jurassic Park?
Oh, my God. The characters. The Hammond kids.
I
couldn't even. Is it Justin? Something like that. And
Chris.
Abigail.
It's Tim and I can't remember the name.
3.
Susan.
So Tim and Lex.
Lex. I want to say
Silly,
Letty, but Letty was not right.
They're just kids. They don't have names.
Chris, what is the name of Tatum's brother in Scream?
Dewey.
I'll give you it. Dewey Riley.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Bruce, which year was the Blues Brothers released?
1984.
No. Chris?
89.
No. A.
80? Jeez.
Yeah.
Well.
Chris, who is the father in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Like both parts. Actor and character name.
All right, okay.
Wayne Zelinsky, and he is called.
Oh my god.
The fuck's he called?
3, 2, 1. Bruce, to steal it, I just need the actor name.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking. I'm blanking his name now.
3, 2,
I can't even
it
remember.
was Rick Moranis.
Oh my god!
That's his name.
Bruce,
I was working towards getting the character name, and him nailing it without even thinking about it threw me there.
Bruce, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is directed by which famous brothers?
Coens. The Coen
I need
brothers.
their names, first names.
Oh, Joel and Ethan.
Yes.
Oh, I knew Ethan.
Chris, Joe Panalecto and Robert Davi are brothers in which movie?
Oh, Goonies.
Yeah. And
Oh,
last
yeah.
one. Sorry. Bruce, last round. How many children does Nobby Butcher have in Grimsby?
Fucking
Oh
hell.
God. Is it 9?
9? Yes, it is.
Oh,
I'm alive. Still just alive here.
And Chris, who are the two sets of siblings in Logan Lucky?
I haven't got a clue.
Bruce?
There's Logan and is it Clyde?
Yeah.
And
You could have had Joe and Sam. So, yeah.
do I win?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you got that
Right.
point.
Well, I mean, okay, well that's a draw then.
Oh no, it's not, that's what you said. One set.
You
You said name one of the two sets of brothers or family. Or
I
whatever.
don't care. The rules are the rules.
Anyway, yeah, 5-5. We drew.
Oh, I'll accept
Move on.
Point 6. Movies within movies. Christopher Temple Podcast Universe.
There's a lot, by the way, so brace yourselves.
I've not seen-
I'll rattle through them. So Michael Rooker as Buddy. He was in Slither as Grant. The Rock's little cameo as Hobbs. He was in The Mummy Returns and the Scorpion as a Scorpion King, and Doom as Sarge.
Really have not represented Dwayne The Rock Johnson fairly. Podcast.
No, I thought we'd done more of him, but apparently not. I'm going to include him because his little cameo at the start. Paul Walker as Brian was in the Fast and the Furious as Brian.
I thought him actually, yeah. Can we just say Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster? Like,
Yeah.
we've just done them. They're the main characters of all the.
Well, Vin Diesel was in Triple X as Xander. Michelle Rodriguez was in Avatar's Trudy. Jordan Bruce was only doing this. Rita Moreno was 80 for Brady.
Forgotten until I saw it. Oh my god, yeah, she was. She was
I
there for
didn't
Brady.
recognise her.
She's like the fourth one. Like the other ones are all more important, but she was the fourth one in it for Brady.
I forgot who he was, but Luis De Silva was in 21 Jump Street as one of the 1% club, the number 3.
He was Yogo. He was the guy who got blown up in the race from. He was his pal.
Brie Larson was also in 21 Jump Street as Molly. Ludacris, this one blew my mind because I forgot about it. He was in Rock and Roller as Mikey.
He was the other studio executive with Jeremy Piven in
Jason Statham, sure, he was in Expendables as Lee, Crank as Chev Chelios, and Snatch as Turkish. That's it.
That's me as well. I've got no others.
Sweet.
Very good. Have you recast us into the film, Chris?
I have. I could technically keep you as Brian because he is still alive, but I put you as Jacob.
The fun uncle.
I'll take that.
I'm 100% Roman. Like, I hate giving money away. I love food. And I'm a great leader like him.
You're far funnier than Roman is, Chris. I'll tell you.
I'll accept that because I thought he was hilarious.
Is Andy Dom?
I have kept him as Vin Diesel.
Because you cast us before. I went for who I wanted to see each of us play. So I wanted to see me play Brian in this film because he's not in it. I wanted to see Chris play Little Brian. I thought that'd be funny because I wanted to see Andy play Jason Momoa's character. I
totally would deal with this character. I'll tell you that.
I was tempted to put you as Jason Momoa.
But yeah, stick him as Dom. I had him as Dom initially, but I thought, who
I'll
else?
tell you what, if you gave me 25 million to be in this franchise, fucking hell, I'd act the shit out of it.
Nail it. Films that are in this film, Queenie, that's Helen Mirren, mentions Roman holiday very clearly and obviously when they're in Rome, and Fast Five is literally in this film as well. My questions: could this film have come out in 1995? Absolutely not. There's like 10 films before it. It would make no sense to come out, and also they probably wouldn't do all the things. The Dead Man Walking. I thought Roman was done for, and at the moment, I am correct. Roman wasn't because he died. In the plane
He's
crash.
not dead. They jumped out of that plane in the cars.
The guy at the start, I've got his name, like Hector Reyes.
Oh,
He's dead,
the dad Ray. We knew he
Aye.
died. Yeah. Who's in the wrong movie? Momoa is playing it like he is, but Brie Larson is just in this film for absolutely no reason. She's in the wrong film. She's playing a character that was invented purely for this, which just could be played by original. Is it Little Nobody? Which is that meant to be his son, or just the guy who took over from Mr. Nobody?
No, just a random guy. They used to call him Little Nobody.
Is he in other films? Because I've only watched 5, 9, and 10.
He's
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood's son, yeah.
Yeah, he's in other films, yeah.
Right, okay, because he wasn't in 9 at all, and that's what's threw me. That he's just
Yeah,
like, oh
he's
yeah, our buddy.
definitely in
Well,
it.
right, okay.
He first appeared in like 5 or 6. I can't
Yeah.
remember now.
It's not in 5 either, so it must be.
Oh,
Like when
6.
the agency came into it, which must be
Yeah.
6, 7-ish sort of stuff when he came in, obviously, clearly. And tropes that we want to die. The dead coming back to life. I need rid of these characters being written out of films and coming back just when they fancy it. This is the worst franchise for it. I thought Marvel might get bad when they start losing money in films, but this is horrific. Chris, trope you want to see die?
The Fast franchise specific, I've already mentioned, the rotating camera. But in general, the bad guy licking people's faces.
Yeah. Aye. It's not funny. It's not big or clever, is it?
Clever.
Andy, what's your trope?
As much as I love it in these films, and it works for these films, but I think it needs to die, is bad guys become good guys.
Yeah, it's preposterous. Because it's like a trend.
Because you think John Cena, right? He had proper reasons to hate Dom. They killed the dad. He was to blame. He got shunned from the family. One barbecue, one little fight. I fucked up for all them years. Sorry, Dom.
He's one that I understand though, because he is like actually familiar.
He only joined them because he got betrayed himself by that guy.
He got betrayed in the end, yeah. But then, like, Jason Statham, you killed my brother, I'm going to kill all your fucking family. I'm here to help you guys. Don't
He's
worry.
still a wee bit kind of more ancillary member of the family.
Yeah, but
really
still, he's there.
Yeah, you're right. Cypher's the one. If she actually ends up joining the Familia she's at a barbecue, then it's Point 7 on the podcast. That one thing. This is going to be quite complicated. What is the one thing that the 11th movie?
I'm with Chris.
What's that?
Jason
Momoa.
Jason Momoa. But he's going to be in another one.
I don't care. This is going to be the film where I remember him playing purple camp villain. You don't see a camp villain. He's like this, like in this day and age.
Had this film actually ended, this would have been. Oh, that's the one with Momoa in it. For me, it's the Fireball one. I'm going to remember the Firebomb, I guess you would call it.
They might do that again. That could be like Fast 20 when that one guy that almost got burned comes back as a bad guy.
Yeah, they show that game. But I still think Fast 5's still the one with the safe. I think even though it's in this,
Okay.
But yeah, the one with Momoa might be what sticks depending on what happens next. Point 8, nominations for the 10-Point Podcast Awards, the final round of nominations, and I get some weeks to build the pointage this year. Chris, lead it off on the nominations. I feel many arguments coming here.
I will fight anyone who disagrees with me. The best actor was Jason Momoa.
Yep.
I don't have him nominated, I don't think. For
120%. I'm backing Chris on that. That was a performance.
Despite the fact you said it's not a performance, Andy, and he's not.
That's his real life character, but he's reading lines, so I'm fine.
Okay.
I put best support as John Cena.
Probably.
Moments,
but he's just being John Cena as well. Like, fair enough, yeah.
He's having a good time.
So in a supporting role, yes, we'll go John Cena.
Okay. I put best badass as Dante.
I went Statham.
Statham is I would say Statham is the badass in this because I don't know why he's punching a guy in the thingy bag, and then he's just like, I'm gonna go and here's some guns, do what you want. I'm gonna go and do my own shit. I don't need yous. So that is pretty badass. Whereas I'd say Dante's a bit unhinged.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't have the air of badass.
I'm going to tell you now, there's a theme coming up later on, so just I've already sensed it. My biggest bail and I put Ames.
I put Roman.
No, I'm gonna give it to Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson. All right, so 3-way tie means nobody wins. I'm not backing down on Roman. I'm not backing down.
All right, my best villain, Dante.
Yes.
Yeah.
My best death was the poor bastard at the start. Like, he was only killed because he had no
He
leverage
had nobody,
whatsoever.
had no friends, no nothing, just dead.
No, not even a cat.
Oh,
That's
that
why he
guy.
killed.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So I had John Cena just because
Yeah.
he went out with a
He'll be back.
story.
He was
But yeah.
bad, but that henchman's never coming
Right.
back because he had nothing.
That's the best death because he didn't even have a cat.
Oh, that's a new moral. Just have something in your life so you don't
Yeah,
get killed by
Something, just in
somebody.
case.
My best plan, I put Roman's Rome heist because it didn't work until Dante took over.
Ah, he walked right into that.
It's Momoa, is it
Yeah,
not?
best plan is walking into Cypher with all the henchmen already under your control and without them even knowing they're under your control.
And all the way through to the end,
Yeah.
where it's like I've
He
had
had it
him.
planned.
He's in my payroll the
Everything
entire
just
time.
keeps falling apart from
No,
him.
he had a vision board. He had that planned down to
I love that.
Up your pals on the plane.
Flashes
I've
on a vision board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
he
Jason
had it
Momoa's
all.
plot.
And he's even doing a subplot with fucking getting the Rock as well. He's
Yeah.
not only is getting Vin Diesel, he's got the Rock on board as well. It's like
He's
fucking
spinning
all.
plates all over
He's
the
playing
place here.
4D chess here.
Yeah.
Okay, my best weapon is Uncle Muscle's gun car.
I had, because I always do this in an inanimate object. Best inanimate object. I had Tiny Tej at first, but I think the cannon car maybe.
Cannon car. That is a weapon.
Okay. My best twist was Giselle because I did not see that coming at all. Because I thought she was dead.
I would actually say that's a bad twist.
Yeah.
So I'm going agency dude.
I'm going to agency dude. I didn't see it coming. I really didn't. I thought, oh yeah, it's 100%. But then on that bridge, they swayed me back. It's like there's no way he's barbecuing with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a barbecue in
that. I didn't have a worst twist.
Probably Giselle. Worst twist. I don't have one, but it might be. Oh, actually, here's the 20th person that's not actually dead now.
Well, I thought it was Brie Larson that was in there. I thought, I don't know, she'd been saved in the thingamay. So, I'm still saying Giselle was the best twist. Worst special effects was Dom's car going down the steps trying to catch the bomb.
Right. That 110% looked dodgy as fucking the cinema in IMAX. However, on the telly, it didn't look as bad as it did in the cinema.
You mentioned it, that does ring a bell, actually.
But yeah, it does, just the way it was.
Yep. My best cameo, the flight attendant that helps them is Paul Walker's daughter, Meadow.
Oh god, it's a Chris cameo.
That does count as a cameo because she's in the
It's still a Chris cameo.
So I went for The Rock as the best cameo.
I would say The Rock, yes.
Yeah, because he's meant to be out. Like we know The Rock's done, isn't he?
And I walked into that film not knowing that was in it. Like I managed to say spoiler free on that bad boy.
Pete Davidson is a very much a cameo. But we're like,
no, fuck him.
The daughter doesn't quite work for best cameo.
I would give the daughter as a Chris cameo because I would say it's a retrospect. If you know it.
Yeah,
I don't know that because I only knew it was her because I was going through the name. It said Meadow.
Exactly, but if you're watching it, you do.
Oh my god! Look who the stewardess is. So
yeah. I would say that's Virgin on a Chris cameo there.
Yeah. So yeah.
My Daddy on Jules was Gal Gadot because I didn't expect her whatsoever. I half expected.
To be fair, I didn't. I would say I would give her the Danny John Jules because I didn't expect.
Okay, yeah, good shout, yeah.
My best fight was Dom and Dante in the bridge, literally because he called him a butthole.
I don't have a nominee, so yeah, I'll go with that if you think that's the best.
Where are we? The best line, I've already said it more than once, is when Dante calls him a butthole because it's fucking
fair enough.
He wasn't expecting. Like, he just pulls it. He told me on side. Your butthole. It fucking kills me.
I didn't call you that at the beginning, though.
I was expecting to actually. I had that as something else as a backup. My best entrance was Dante dragging two bodies behind him.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Cypher.
Yeah, that was an entrance. That was an entrance.
Yeah.
Worst cop was Ames because he's like every other cop. He's dirty. And he had the bad guy in custody and didn't do it. Like, didn't kill him there.
There's not many cops in this, really. Yeah. I didn't tell you most agencies are even police, you know? I feel like they're just kind of...
That's what happened to Scott Eastwood. He fucked off.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
Where am I? Best costume outfit was Dante's pink robe. Yep. And his little bunches.
Yep.
Yeah,
little scrunchies.
Where am I? My best hair was Momoa's hair, like throughout the film. It's like a lion's mane. It was glorious.
He just went to the end, but I could put Momoa in for that.
I did. I'm not even like literally. There's a theme happening with him. Like you've already said no, but is Dom's kid annoying?
Nah.
No, he's fine. He's good, maybe even. Yes.
Product placement. I put Stella Artois. It's not specifically said, but you can see the glass.
You can see the glass, but yeah, I'd struggle in this one. They actually seem to cover up a lot. They seem to have got money now.
It's Corona, surely. They were still drinking Corona.
Was there still Coronas at the barbecue?
He hands Han a Corona in the garage in that hellish scene.
I prefer Stella. I just like Stella more.
I did see Stella's more prominent than Coronas this time.
Unless it's what, a DeLorean?
It's like a proper glass.
DeLorean actually.
DeLorean's
DeLoreans
what jumped out at me. So I don't know if DeLorean, because like you say, it's so bold.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that then.
I'll accept the DeLorean. That's me.
Done that. Best car chase, apparently that's so I've got the Fireball one. It's probably the best car chase, unless you like to go helicopters.
I like the helicopters. I prefer the helicopters.
I'll go helicopters then, I'm happy with that. Best hair, I forgot the nominee to counter your one. Having watched Fast 9, best hair is Michelle Rodriguez. Because she had an awful looking haircut. They made her look like about 70 years old.
She looks a lot younger now.
Yeah, her hair has really changed her to looking like it's like someone said, you need to change that like for the next.
Like I said, she started the first one. She's like, I forgot Michelle Rodriguez was hot. Yeah. And as she goes through the franchise, she gets fugly, and then like recently, like she's became hotter again.
Maybe you've just grown up with her.
I don't know, but yeah, she goes weird. But yeah, like Dungeons and Dragons, she's a barbarian, but she's a hot barbarian.
Yeah. But I think her hair is such an improvement on the last one. I'd nominate her, but I think Chris is on the Momoa train, so we'll just leave that be. I don't know if that's the best stunt necessarily. I don't know because
there's too much happening. I don't know what.
And the big ones are all heavily CGI, so you don't actually know.
I think Vin Diesel jumped off the Hoover Dam.
Maybe.
You can't disprove this.
That is the difference between these and the Mission Impossibles. Is I could be like, that's the best stunt because I know that's a fact. That's a Tom Cruise. Yeah. Oh, I meant to say, Mission Impossible trailer ran before the Flash this week. Tom Cruise nearly does the trifecta in the trailer because he runs and rides a motorbike.
My biggest problem with that trailer is it's over 2 films, and you could quite clearly tell that they've put the 2 trailers worth of 2 films worth in it.
But I think it does hide what's going to happen. Though. That's really good. Best team: Momoa and the agency fella Ames. They're the best team, I think.
Momoa does most of it himself.
I think the family got out teamed in this one.
Nah, they're regrouping. They're waiting for Brian and Mr. Nobody and.
Biggest belly Roman. Most underused: Jason Statham.
Yep.
Third build has 1 scene.
I don't care. It was enough.
You're right there, actually. Yeah.
He was underused, but like I did want more of him.
Definitely.
He's coming back. I don't care. I'm getting Hobbs and Shaw too.
I'm advertised as being in this film, and he's a big star in the Fast and Furious franchise, and he's not in it. Like he's underused anyway. I wanted more of him. Stupidest character, Roman, obviously, but specifically next to his name, I've got written, "There's a bomb," and he answers, "What happens if it goes off?" That's all I need to know.
Because of that line, I'm giving you that. You can have Roman.
Worst acting, Vin Diesel. I don't know if Chris said that. Worst physics, when Lil B jumps out of the car into the other car. That's the worst physics.
No, because he knew his lines. Felt the car.
I don't think it's possible for him to generate the energy he needed to jump from car to car. I think that's me. I've done product placement as well. So
that's his first superpower. He's feeling the energy.
It's flying.
Yeah.
Point 9 on the 10-point podcast is the moral of the story. What lesson are we supposed to learn from Fast 10? Andy, what's your moral of the story?
Families need to stick together because they're stronger together.
There you go. My one is swearing is for sung lyrics only and stubbed toes and cannon cars. Chris, what's your moral of the story?
Mine is just like, don't mess with family.
Don't mess with family. There we go. 10th point. The 10-point rating. Rating the movie out of 10. The wheel chose it, but Andy had seen it prior, so we'll start off with Andy.
Well, as I said in my preview of this film, I enjoyed this film. It's like what Bruce said about The Flash. I went in, wasn't really expecting much, didn't really care. But I came out enjoying it. Like, it was fast, it was furious. The first 45 minutes I didn't blink because there was too much happening. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. It slows down a little bit, but at no point did I go, oh, God. And the end's abrupt, but it didn't even annoy me as much as it did Bruce. Normally, the endings like that would annoy the fuck out of me. But I came out the cinema going, I want another one. Like, kind of like when I did Lord of the Rings and that. It's like, what happens next? Like, I was excited by what happens next. So it didn't annoy me. I was excited. I'm going to be annoyed if it's 3 years, but currently, this film, after 2 viewings, gets a 9.
A 9?
Because I enjoyed it. It's got everything I love about a film. It's got John Cena, it's got Jason Momoa, it's got Jason Statham. technically Ryan Reynolds is in this franchise, and I can feel a build up, and this is the start of the build up. So Fast 11 is going to be a 10 out of 10. I can feel it. It's coming.
So we make fun of Andy for rating films on comparing it to another film. Like this is not as good as it once, therefore it's lower. But now Andy's comparing it, reflecting it in a film that hasn't even come out yet. This film is so good because the next film is going to be good.
I'm so excited because of all the I've seen in this, and it just left me wanting more. I'm all in. I am like I said in my preview of this. This is better than the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. Like I'm like, you see a new Marvel thing, it's like I'll watch it because I'm invested in it. This I'm like, I'm going to watch it because I don't know what the fuck they're going to do next. They've been to space. How did they top it? I know. Rocket League in Rome, blowing up the Vatican. I'm all in.
I'll go next. I went alphabetical order for this. The most damning thing about the film is that during every single fight scene, I was begging for some story progression or a character being built or telling me who these people are. But then when I get some of that, I'm yearning for more fighting to come back. I just wanted car chases for like an hour of this film. Just give me a car chase, please. That was what I had written, and I just got next to it. The non-ending loses it another point, so it's actually got marked down to a 2 out of 10 because it didn't finish.
Fucking hell!
It's nearly unwatchable.
No, it's not.
It is nearly unwatchable. It's so bad. It's like I saw someone wrote somewhere that it's like an AI made the film, and it's kind of.
It's like I had millions of pounds and made a film. This is what this film is.
Oh, exactly. It's like it's soulless. There's no purpose. Nobody has a purpose. It's all just.
Oh, you're watching the wrong film.
I am watching the wrong film. You're right. If I didn't pick it, the wheel did. Chris, what's your score?
I guess a 6 for me because
right in the middle.
Like purely because Momoa's performance, he steals every single scene he's in. Everything he says is funny. It's like he's singing bipolar. Like, there's like 1 minute he's like pure rage, and then he's just something camp and over the top. And I hope he survives the next 2 films, so we could do a spin-off of Dante. And he gets invited to a
He's joining
barbecue
the
for
team.
some
I'm
reason.
telling you.
Hobbs and Shaw and Dante. That'll be the next.
Who's worse than Dante? Oh, what it is, Ames is going to turn on Dante, so Dante's going to help Dom. That's it.
Yeah, that's where we're going to go. Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
It scrapes a 6 then.
Fucking savage you are.
Unfairly kind score for Fast 10. I think
this. I was entertained. I loved it. I
don't know if it's the worst, but I think it's my least favorite of the Fast movies. I think this is just about at the bottom of the lot.
You're a monster.
Maybe. So the theme for the wheel is hard to judge now because we had it going. Beast, 80 for Brady, Boston Strangler, Space Oddity, and Fast X are the 5 films.
What the
traveling?
Yeah, I always thought it was going to be traveling, but then Boston Strangler doesn't really work.
He travels around a little bit.
I was from Boston to somewhere else.
Okay, it's a stretch.
Family.
It's not family either, is it? Family? 80 for Brady. 80 for Brady's not really family, unfortunately.
They're family, the group of friends. They're family.
They're Vin Diesel's integrated family.
Yeah.
I guess family because Beast is about the 3 of them or the family.
Yeah.
80 for Brady, if you want to be that. Boston Strangler is about basically her and her kid, and again, it's not really. It's just about her, really. I don't know.
They're all a bit integrated because Idris Elba's in the Fast franchise now. Rita Moreno's in the Fast franchise. I don't know if anybody from Boston Strangler.
Well, you've just done the universe, Chris. So no one hopped out as having been in Boston Strangler, did they?
The Fast universe.
Why
That's
Kevin Bacon?
Kevin
Bacon? No. I'm trying to think who else was in Space Oddity. Maybe it is. They're all in the Fast universe, one way or another. Anyway,
I like that film because it was shit.
We'll leave it there for the last episode of the season, Fast 10.
What a high to end on.
We might cherry pick some other Fasts and Furiouses in between, but that might be the end of the Fast and Furious thing for now. Next time is the Pointies, the season 7 Pointies. I will now get started.
Where Jason Momoa is going to clear up.
I dare say it could be like an epically long Pointy Awards this year, so do get ready for like a 3-hour podcast that we're going to be doing.
It's like WrestleMania. It's going to be in 2 nights.
We could just
do 2-parter.
Do the good night one night and the bad night.
What's going to happen the second night? We're going to sit there with a hangover going,
I
don't remember anything from the night before.
What did we rate this? I don't know.
It will be a few weeks before it appears on your podcast timelines. I am just going to try and do some twittering of reviews of things that I see in between to keep you occupied, and I'll try and tweet out warnings of when the point is happening. So get in touch on Twitter next, Will, because I'm going to be on it quite a lot. That's really it for now. How do you find season 7 went, lads?
I'm sweating my balls off.
Me too.
I
Summertime
think the
season's
hottest
quite bad.
season ever.
Definitely, in terms of temperature-wise. In terms of movie-wise, not the highest. I think the last couple of seasons we had some actual proper good films. This year was a bit devoid of
That's
proper.
because you don't appreciate Fast and the Furiouses.
Correct. And you also gave something that me and Chris gave like a 9 a couple of weeks ago and nothing. Was it Snatch?
Lucky number 11. I didn't like Snatch that much.
Oh, that's right. There was Lucky number 7. But yeah, I think we haven't agreed.
That's because I took you outside your comfort zone this season. Like, I put random films in that you've never even heard of. I could barely get on streaming services.
Fair
I can't
point.
really remember half the films I picked.
Exactly. They'll come back in the 20s.
I've already decided what I'm doing next season, and I think next season is me a cherry picking collection of things that aren't a theme again. But then after that, I've got a belter of a theme after that. So I think the next season, I already know what I'm doing. I already know what my first pick is.
I've got an idea for next season. I've got my first pick as well, actually.
Please be Bobcat Goldthwait Part 2.
Still
Still the greatest theme in history.
Yeah, so there we go. That's it.
You
for
brought
us.
it back in Guardians of the Galaxy.
We will see you in a few weeks' time for the season 7 pointies. So until then, listen to all the episodes again and get in your mind what you think the bests and worsts are.
And write down your reviews on our socials as well, because Bruce hates this film. He hates films.
I did not have fun during this film. That was the difference between The Flash and this. Was I had fun during this. But it's just about the same length of time, and this was so much less fun. Anyway, I was trying to wrap things up there, and I'm getting boiling hot with these headphones on. Join us in a few weeks' time for the pointies of season 7 of the 10 Point Podcast.